Yo guys, what's up? It's XRAYZ and welcome back to another video. So just wanted to make a quick one here, talking to you guys about what the best early weapons, well, I should say mostly class setup is for leveling up your weapons and just having a little bit of an easier time here with Modern Warfare 2. We'll talk about some of the settings that I have going on with my controller setup, my graphics setup, stuff like that, and we'll talk about the class setup itself. So let's go ahead and jump into it. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. If you're new, make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss a single upload. And if you want to support the channel directly, then you can do so by checking out my sponsors, Control Freak, Aim Controller, and G2A. Links down below to all three. And then Amazon, if you guys would much rather do it that way. Let's go ahead and jump into it. I'm going to do gameplay only so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But this is currently the setup that I have going on here. I just unlocked my gold camo here for the TAC 56, or the Scar H as most of us know, or Scar L, I believe is what some people were telling me. Now, I'm not really going to go into the attachments on this guy because this is all kind of subjective to how your playstyle is. But if you want to see what mine looks like, you know, this is kind of the attachments I'm using. It's mostly the one that we got for, I believe it was pre-ordering the game. I think you got like a Scar H. But these are all pretty much the same things that you have with that blueprint. The only thing I added was the RF Crown 50 for the horizontal and vertical recoil control. I'm working my way towards getting a different sight on here just because I want something that's like a little more like 2.5 times around there, because I play at a higher FOV, and we'll talk about all of that here in a bit. But you know, again, this weapon, what I should say is the thing I'm talking about mostly here is going to be the lethals, your tactical, your perk package, stuff like that I think is the most important. Now, here's what I am saying right now. If you're leveling up your weapon right now, or you're leveling up your account and you don't have a lot of stuff unlocked like I do, I'm currently at level 22, then this is what I would recommend. I would recommend that your secondary actually be your launcher. Now, the reason that I say this is because you do not have the ghost perk unlocked just yet. And even, you know, maybe you don't want to use ghost. Like usually with the class setups that I have, I don't use ghost. So I usually just have myself a secondary as my launcher. So anytime that there's a UAV, a counter UAV, those are always super annoying. I just shoot them down. It's so much easier. I think you only have to hit them like once, I think, to do it. So really, it's not that, you know, it's kind of like a no-brainer for me, really, to do that. Let's see what do we got here. We got to get it to level 11. Are you kidding me? What level do I have it at? 2 of 15. Jesus. All right, so I guess it does take a while to get those launchers leveled up. But anyways, like I said, a launcher is your secondary I would go for, especially if you're going for a gold grind. The launchers are going to be one of the ones that are the easiest ones to do, so you can level them up pretty quick as well. Well, you know, if you're actually getting kills, as opposed to what I'm doing, which is just having it on my back and using it whenever I'm shooting something down. Now, as for your tactical, if you're leveling it up at the moment, you know, you're still grinding up to level 55, I would go with the flash grenade or the stun grenade. Honestly, stun or flash are both pretty good in this game. I get flashed a lot, but if you had to choose between the two, stun and flash. And then the other one that I'm going to be rocking as soon as I unlock it here very soon is going to be stim. I just like being able to heal up almost immediately. It helps me with my gunfights. So I'm going to be swapping to stim, but as I'm leveling up, I'm going with the flash, or I'm going with the stun, dealer's choice. All right, let's talk about your lethal. Now, this is one that you can kind of pick and choose. I have been noticing if you're playing a lot of ground war invasion, where it's just like you're holding down locations, or it's just a lot of action, Claymore has been awesome. I used this a lot during the beta, and it just was amazing. It's like very powerful. And I use it at doors and stuff whenever I'm holding down a location on ground war. But the other two that I would highly recommend are Semtex, are going to be the drill charge or the frag grenade. Now, I was only using Semtex because I was completing one of my gold camo challenges, but really between the two, I'd probably go with drill charge just so that you can use it to blow other people up on the other side of walls. I've gotten actually killed a lot by the drill charge, so it's one of those that you can really use it if you want, and you can still throw it at someone and kill them if you hit them. So give it a shot. You might actually like it. As for the perk package, this one, the one that I'm using right now, just because I haven't unlocked all the other attachments or all the other perks just yet, is the sniper one. And the reason is because of bird's eye and focused. I think those are the two best bonus and ultimate perks in the game. if I'm being honest with you guys. The bird's eye one allows you to have a zoomed out mini map, and the UAV radar pings also gives you kind of like a directional thing, so you can see which way people are looking and not just like red dot sights when you get a UAV. You also get a UAV ping that first time that you unlock it. Focused gives you less flinch and allows you to hold your breath longer. All I care about that is that reduced flinch, so I just like using that guy. The other two would be ones that I would swap out if I could, but like I said, at the moment I do not have any of the perks that I really want. Now once I do, or once I am able to use the perks that I want, the ones that I would want to use are going to be let's see, Tracker, and also going to be Battle Hardened. Those are going to be the two I'm going to use because it's just easier. You're dealing with a lot of flash and stuns, especially right now early game, and it just makes it easier for you to find people when you're playing games like Ground War, or if you're playing just something with a lot of people, or maybe like a place that's like huge and you just need to get a general idea of where people are. So those are the two I'm going to be rocking. If I'm not playing Ground War, I might swap Tracker out for something else, but for now that's what I'm thinking. And because I don't have anything unlocked, I'm literally just using the sniper one because I like bird's eye and I like focus, and I think that they are the two best perks that you can use if you're maybe not the best player, maybe you're having a hard time right now. These will give you so much more awareness when you're playing the map. You'll get way more kills. Give it a shot. All right, then the field upgrade, honestly, like once I unlock the munitions box, which I just did, that's what I'm gonna be rocking. You could use portable radar if you're someone who's more of a sentinel, quote unquote, campy kind of thing. But the other one that's actually surprisingly pretty good is also the tactical camera. It just kind of lets you know when people are running past an area that you threw the camera at. Not really a terrible one to use. The one I'm using right now is just because I didn't have scavenger just yet or anything like that. It was munitions box. I'm gonna be using it, but I don't really see a need for DDoS or really any of these other ones that I honestly don't think they're really that great. So the ones I would use are tactical camera, your munitions box. If you want the portable radar, you can. But honestly, there's some of the other things that you can use that you really don't need to use those. So if you feel like you're running low on ammo, munitions box. If you're not, then, you know, give something else a go. But for now, those are the ones I'm going to be rocking. All right, let's go ahead and talk about my settings that I have in game right now, guys. So the first thing I want to talk about, let's talk about graphics. On-demand texture streaming, I keep that on. I hasn't really noticed any kind of weird changes to it, but that's just what I have. So if you have a daily download limit, or if you just like, maybe you don't want to use up all your internet speed, like I don't know, some ISPs limit how much data you get. Maybe this isn't one you want to use, but if you do have unlimited data, then slap that guy on. Motion blur, weapon motion blur, I get rid of both of them. They just give me a headache. I turn Filgrame all the way down. There's no point in having it, so I just take it down. Depth of field, I also have that off. I just want it as clean and as easy to see as possible. Fidelity cast, I keep that on just to gives you a little bit extra sharpening, and you can kind of play around with this. I might actually move it around a little more, just if you want it. If you don't care about sharpness in your game, then don't use it, but I feel like it helps you see people a little bit easier, like their outlines and everything, so that's really why I have it on. I have 120 hertz mode on. I'm also playing at 1440p for those who are wondering. Field of view, I have it all the way up to 120. This really depends on what you can take. Maybe for some of you guys 100 FOV is the best that you want to have. Maybe it just looks weird to you. I've just been playing at 120 FOV since Vanguard, and it doesn't bother me. I can see more people, more of the area around me, so it just kind of gives me a little bit more of an advantage. That's just what I do. Now, as for the actual weapon, you can choose if you want it affected or not. If you do not have any scope on it, then I would have it as independent, just so you can actually zoom in closer. If you have a weapon that's like a 2.5 time, or if you're like, you're going to be doing a lot of long range killing, then I would have it as independent or affected, just so it makes it easier for you to use it at mid ranges. But again, if you're focused more on iron sights or up close ADS, then you probably want to have that as independent so that you can actually see people and they're not zoomed out when you're ADSing. Weapon field of view, you can decide what you want to have it on. You can choose wide or narrow. I just have it on default. So the weapon looks like normal. It's just easier for you. If you don't want it to look the way that it does, or maybe you want it to look like on PC, you can choose which one. I have it on default. Haven't really noticed it too crazy. I feel like I leave it on here too because it's a little bit less jarring for people who are watching the video. That's just the way it goes. Same thing with FOV here for third person. I just have it on as 90, and then you can also choose what you want for vehicle. I just keep it at default. Spectator camera, you can choose which one you want. They made this a new feature, whether you want it to be kind of like the helmet camera or game perspective. I just use game perspective because it's the way it's been in every COD, and I just prefer it that way. And that's really about it for graphics. The other one that I wanted to go through is the controller setup. Personally, I am using the tactical button layout. You can choose, and you can actually independently choose what buttons you want each thing to do, but personally I like tactical. It's what I've been rocking throughout my entire career as a Call of Duty player. Hasn't failed me. The flipping you can use if you want. I've gotten so used to not having them flipped that that's just the way that I prefer it. But maybe you want to be able to shoot and aim without having a lot of, like, maybe you don't have trigger stops on your controller, for instance. You can plop that on and it'll just be easier for you to aim and fire as quickly as possible, especially if you're like semi-auto using a weapon. Stick layout, I keep it the same. Controller vibration, honestly, you could turn that off. I don't know why I had it on, but I'm gonna turn it off. For sensitivity, this really depends on what you prefer. I have found the sweet spot to be around 8. You can swap it up, you can go down. It's just whatever you can deal with in the game that isn't going to affect your accuracy and your aim. I don't really mess with any of the sensitivity multipliers on here or in the vertical aim axis. I leave all that default just because I haven't had any issues with it. And then the last thing that I do have changed is the automatic sprint. I have it to automatic tactical sprint. So whenever I don't have to wear out my controller pushing down my L3 button, I just literally run forward and it'll tactical sprint as well. So if you're someone who cares about when they're using their automatic tactical sprint, maybe just leave it on regular sprint and then you can do like the clicking in for tactical. But I want to make sure my controller doesn't wear out. A lot of controllers have issues where like you can't sprint anymore because your L3 button is messed up because you used it so much. Call of Duty does that a lot. That's why I have that setting on there. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to do a video talking about the settings I have, the class setups, something that's going to help you guys out when you're playing and make it a little easier for you guys and give you a little bit more of an advantage, just give you an easier time so you can succeed when you're playing. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like. If you're new, make sure to subscribe and notifications on. And if you want to support the channel directly, you can do so by checking out my sponsors, Control Freak and Ape Controller. I use them every single time that I play. Code OGXRAYZ gets you a discount link down below to that, or through my Amazon influencer page if you guys would much rather do it that way, or check out G2A, links down below for some cheap games and codes as well. Follow me on Twitter at OGXRAYZ if you guys want to talk and interact. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Take care. Peace.